Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
yes, sir.
Diddy has been in the news for weeks now, and with every passing day, new information emerges that leaves the public in shock. As the case against Diddy gets stronger, more information also comes into the public domain. Let's discuss more recent stuff that hit the news and tell you about the craziest stories from the Freakoffs. The latest saga involving Sean Diddy Combs has gripped the internet by storm. Everyone was left shell-shocked after the horrors done by P. Diddy and his associates at crazy drug and assault-fueled parties that were recently brought out into the light. The parties especially, which were often attended by some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the entertainment industry, have gained plenty of attention after some of the victims revealed horrifying details in their lawsuits. The Freakoff has now not only become a term synonymous with Sean Diddy Combs, but is at the center of his federal crimes case. Now, in case you're wondering why Diddy's secret parties are called the Freakoffs, let's just say they are nothing less than nightmare fuel. The Freakoff sessions are laid out in the government's indictment and in their subsequent letters that they filed with the court when they argued against Combs' bail, which, by the way, was denied twice now. Diddy is currently locked up in the Brooklyn Detention Center and is facing charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. We've already mentioned this in our earlier videos, but Diddy could be looking at a minimum of at least 15 years in prison, with life in prison being the maximum term. That's how serious the charges against Diddy are. The main allegations against Diddy, though, are that he ran a criminal enterprise, and the goal of the enterprise was to operate a global media and entertainment business that indirectly engaged in the abuse of women, trafficking, forced labor, prostitution, the distribution of drugs, to use violence, and threats to commit crimes like kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice, to carry out their goals, their missions, all the while making sure to satisfy the bad desires of Sean Combs. One of those desires, as alleged by the prosecutors, and also alleged by several of Combs' accusers in separate civil lawsuits that they filed against him, was the commission of Freakoffs. Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Diddy's orbit. Often under the pretense of a romantic relationship, Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended assault acts with male commercial adult workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, Freakoffs. Freakoffs were elaborate and produced adult performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. This is what Diddy engaged himself in, according to the case against him. Now, this may be a term that is foreign to any person that was not familiar with Diddy's actions, but for those who have been following this whole saga for about a year now, many have heard this term multiple times because it was first mentioned in one of the victims' lawsuits last year. In the Cassandra Ventura lawsuit, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and Rodney Lil Rod Jones lawsuit, Combs' former producer, they discussed the horrors of Freakoffs in their sexual assault lawsuits. Ventura accused Diddy of forcing her to take illicit substances and forced her to participate in intercourse with male adult workers while Diddy filmed her. In her lawsuit, Ventura accused Diddy of physically assaulting her, citing frequent beatings, which were often witnessed by Diddy's staff. Producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, meanwhile, accused Diddy of sexually harassing and threatening him for more than a year. He has a pretty airtight case against Diddy as he managed to secure footage of Diddy and several of his associates involved in illicit behavior and alleged sexual assault. Jones, who seeks $30 million in the federal lawsuit, named several high-profile figures in the entertainment business in the complaint. But only Diddy's son, Justin Dior Combs, Universal Music Group Chief Executive Lucien Charles Grange, former Motown Records Chief Executive Ethiopia Habtemariam, Chalice Recording Studios, the record labels, and Diddy's Chief of Staff Christina KK Karam, Love Records and Combs Enterprises are named as defendants. Jones also alleged that Diddy tried to groom him into engaging in intercourse with fellow producer Stephen Aaron Jordan, Stevie J, and promised to make sure that Mr. Jones wins Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. He also provided Jones with alleged footage of people involved in sexual activity at Combs' home, which Jones believed was procured through hidden cameras throughout Diddy's properties. Now, as it turns out, such desires weren't the only theme of Diddy's Freakoff parties. Coitus fueled by drug use was the norm during these wild parties that often included Hollywood A-listers. But wait, there's more. According to the indictment, these Freakoff parties were often accompanied by violence and manipulation as well. For example, Diddy allegedly distributed drugs like ketamine, GHB, and ecstasy to keep participants compliant, often without their knowledge. Prosecutors also claim Diddy recorded these acts without the participants' consent, potentially using the footage as leverage over them, thus adding the element of blackmail as well. Prosecutors support their case with significant evidence, including video recordings and other digital materials seized during searches of Diddy's residences in Los Angeles and Miami earlier this year. The government has reportedly obtained dozens of videos, multiple devices, and witness testimonies corroborating the events described in the indictment. Additionally, the indictment claims that Diddy's alleged freakoffs have been happening since the early 2000s, involving controlled substances, physical exertion, and even post-event IV fluid treatments for participants. Some rooms used for freakoffs reportedly sustained significant damage, with Diddy allegedly paying upwards of $46,000 in 2012 to cover damages to a Manhattan penthouse after one such event. Now, a surprising detail regarding Diddy's Freakoff parties, which also explains why so many celebrities, including Hollywood A-listers, were linked to him, has to do with the fact that his Freakoffs often took place right after his famous star-studded parties. There are countless photos and documents, including lawsuits, which state that celebrities were a part of Diddy's Freakoff parties. 3 of Diddy's Freakoffs, which allegedly included women being forced to perform sexual acts for several hours, were organized just hours after major Hollywood events. The pictures and documents revealed names of celebrities like Ava Longoria, Fergie, Ice-T, Quincy Jones, and Paris Hilton partying till the sun came up at Diddy's MTV Video Music Awards after-party on August 29, 2005, as reported by Page 6. However, the known faces of Hollywood eventually left the party, and there is no evidence that they knew of the depraved event which will follow next. The party scene would change to a full-blown orgy as the venue changed from Miami's Space nightclub to Diddy's nearby mansion. The only known face at this next event was of the disgraced mogul, surrounded by naked men and women. One lawsuit, filed by an anonymous woman, alleged that Diddy and 2 other celebrities abused her at the 2000 VMAs after-party. At the time, she was just 13 years old. The evidence also displayed 2 men having intercourse with a black man who had white powder under their nose, while the Bad Boy Records owner was in the background. He was wearing a white t-shirt with "God is the greatest" written in black. It was the same t-shirt he was wearing at the VMAs after-party where other celebrities were present. Another video showed Diddy having very audible intercourse with a woman while surrounded by well-dressed onlookers. One infamous party, an after-party from the MTV VMAs in 2005, has become a focal point of the allegations. While A-list celebrities were mingling during the party, it later transitioned to Diddy's Miami mansion, where the atmosphere shifted to a chaotic freak-off. The report reviewed video clips showing disturbing behaviours, including Diddy engaging in sexual activities with younger individuals. The Post found that many of the videos align with known facts about certain events, but some videos were clearly either undated or incorrectly dated. Moreover, many of the videos are time-stamped to match high-profile events such as the 2004 and 2005 VMAs in Miami and the 2005 Super Bowl in Jacksonville. Now, while Diddy's Freakoff parties stayed a secret until his recent indictment, there were many who brought attention to and exposed the wild side of Diddy's after-parties. A former publicity director at Bad Boy Records, LaJoyce Brookshire, shared her concerns regarding safety at Diddy's parties, stating, "I know that there's no safety after a certain hour when you've got drinks flowing and people behind your back doing drugs in bathrooms. Diddy's extravagant parties were a significant part of celebrity nightlife, attracting renowned figures from various fields. Reflecting on the scrutiny of his events, he acknowledged in an interview with Vibe magazine that some people find his parties intimidating, which he considers a marker of success. He noted, "They won't even give me a permit for the parties no more. They don't want me to throw the parties no more, but we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna keep on having fun bringing people together from all walks of life." It's worth noting that Diddy structured his parties to accommodate younger guests, emphasizing a cut-off time to ensure appropriateness. However, these measures raise questions about the nature of the gatherings once the younger attendees left. As the legal battle unfolds, Diddy's future remains uncertain, with numerous civil suits pending against him from alleged victims. Well, that's all for today. What are your thoughts on Diddy's Freakoff parties? Do let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.